All right, welcome in. This is the Just Stamp Studio with Anna Marie Palmer, and I'm a demonstrator in Southern California for nearly 24 years. And before I show you today's project, I want to share with you the other classes that I have coming up. One has a deadline of tomorrow, and this class, it's a Christmas class with a your choice. You can pick one, two, or both of the classes. One is based on the Christmas Friends, these cute critters with the little winter clothes. Or you can choose to do the Sentimental Christmas with the vintage style elements, that beautiful stocking and the candle. You will make 8 cards, 2 of each design. Everything is cut and prepped for you except for any of the bundle pieces from Sentimental Wishes or from the Christmas Friends. And you have your choice. You can choose one, Sentimental Wishes or Christmas Critters, or you can choose both. You're going to make 8 cards in each class. So here are the cards. Super cute Christmas Critters. And there you go. And also available is the Sentimental Wishes. You're going to recognize the layout because you can follow each or either one. This class in person is on November 16th. It will ship on about November 18th if you're not local, and it's $25 to make the 8 cards. If we're shipping, there's a shipping charge involved, but if you're in-house, you get access to all of the stamps and tools. The other card class I have open right now is the Artful Amaryllis. It is my card kit of the month. I absolutely love this bundle. I love the amaryllis flower, so classic. And this is one that I co-designed with the new friend, Kimberly Myers. You're going to make 5 projects, a couple of fun folds. Beautiful flowers. You're going to notice these are not Christmas cards because the amaryllis will last you throughout the year. It's got beautiful sentiments, project number 5. And the class includes the card kit, a share of the Country Woods paper, a share of the beautiful adhesive back gems, and the ribbon that you need to create the card. So you're going to have leftovers. The class is $34, $9.50 to ship. If you're local, it's free porch pickup. And the deadline for the Artful Amaryllis Greetings Card Kit of the Month is November 20th. It will ship on or about November 27th. All right, friends, here is today's week 6 in the 12 weeks of Christmas. It's a beautiful faith-based card celebrating the angel appearing to Mary with the beautiful news, giving us the reason for the season. You're going to see it's a fun fold card. It's a gatefold center pop-up, and that means it's going to stand on its own. The cool thing is it will fold flat and go into standard size envelope for U.S. first class postage at the regular rate. And you're going to probably wonder, like, Anna Marie, where do you sign that Christmas card? So it's really cool. On the back, we have a little panels. So we have a message there, and you can write a note. You can write a lengthier note as well. And this is, I think it's a gorgeous card. Let's see if I have my inspiration card available. Let's see. So my team, the Stamperistas, do a monthly swap, and yesterday one of my teammates, Tracy, dropped off her swap, and this is the card she brought to me. I think it's gorgeous. I know Tracy was inspired by a card she saw on Pinterest. What I love about it, the beautiful colors, look how pretty it looks with the gold. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And so I took her color scheme and went with it, and I've got a fun fold, a gatefold center pop-up card. So you will notice, or you might think, this is not a card for a beginner. Oh, thank you, Wendy. I love the card too. So nice that you're here. I'm pleased. I hope you're doing well today. I hope you are home in the comfort of your own home finally. All right, so it might look a little bit difficult. The challenge is the fun fold. There's some scoring and cutting involved. Once you have the card base, it's actually a very easy card to put together. And the nice thing about it is that these measurements are friendly. No eighths, no fourths even. It's pretty easy to put together. So let's get started. I'm going to share with you the measurements and the step-by-step, and I'm going to remind you, if you would like the tutorial for this card with all the measurements, just make sure you're on my email list. The tutorials are free right now. They are exclusive to email subscribers, so you want to be on the list, and it will be delivered straight to your mailbox. And so Wendy says not yet, but doing well. Okay, so that I think is good news. I'm glad you're home, or you're not home. Is that what you mean by not yet, Wendy? Are you staying someplace else, or did you not get released? I hope you're feeling better. I hope you're on the mend. Can't wait to see you back in the studio. All right, so let's get started with today's card. Here are the materials we're going to need, and as I said, the measurements are very friendly. And I'm going to show you how to score and cut at Sunny's. That means you're staying with someone who can watch you, which is good. Glad to hear that. Again, grateful that you're not in hospital. Card base is 8 by 5.5. And so not the standard cut, it's a little bit smaller just to make it easier for cutting. Again, 8 inches by 5.5. We will need the paper trimmer, and we're going to do some cutting and some scoring. And again, if you'd like the tutorial with the measurements and the step-by-step, make sure you're on the email list. So I'm going to start off with scoring on the long side. So when I score, I want to make sure that I have that cutting blade out of the way, kind of garaged, and I'm going to be using the lighter scoring blade. So I'm going to be on the long side, which would be the 8-inch side, and I am going to bring it up on my trimmer, and I'm going to butt it up here. There's a little wall. I'm going to put it at the 2-inch mark, and I am going to score. Again, the lighter gray blade. So I'm going to score at 2 inches. Then I'm going to lift the arm, and I'm going to push it up to 6 inches. So far easy, right? These are full inch measurements. Gray scoring tool. So at 2 and at 6. All right, so next I'm going to turn the card base 90 degrees. So just turn it to the short side, and this time I'm going to be cutting 1 inch up from the edge between the score lines. So I'm going to cut between the 2-inch and the 4-inch at 1 inch. So 1 inch. So I'll put the paper on the trimmer at 1 inch. This time I need my cutting blade. So I'm going to bring it down here to start at the 2-inch mark. And I have to say, this is a new paper trimmer for me, and usually I like to have my white strip that helps me read those numbers a little bit more easily. I haven't done that yet though on my new trimmer. I do like that it's so cool cutting. My older one needed to be replaced probably sooner than I did. All right, so I'm going to cut, just making sure I'm at 1 inch below or from the edge and between the 2 score lines. Bring it down from the 2 down to the 6. Just glide that down. Then I'm going to lift, and I'm going to repeat 1 inch from the other side. So I'm going to put it this time on the 1 inch to the right of the track, and I'm going to abut it to that wall. Bring the arm down, and I'm going to be cutting, and my blade is practically in position because I left it at the 6-inch mark. This time I'm going to bring it up to 2 inches, and that was cutting. All right, so I'm done cutting. I'm going to push that cutting blade out of the way, and I'm going to rotate it back, And this time I'm going to score right in the middle at 4 inches. And I'm only going to score that 1 inch panel. So half of the card right now would be 4 inches. Right now the width is 8 inches. So I'm going to bring down my arm, bring up my scoring tool, and I'm going to score that 1 inch panel. So just going straight up, and then I'm going to lift, and I'm going to come down from 4.5 to the edge of my card. Okay, so what I've done is create another score. You can see it right there and right here. All right, so let's see, we need a couple more score lines. We need to score this center area, and we're going to bring that in and score at 3 and at 5. So I'm going to come up to the 3 inch mark. Now see what I mean about the friendly numbers. So far we haven't had any funky fractions, no quarters and no eighths. And we are just going to score that inside area between the two cut lines at 3 inches. So you're going to bring that down, and then we're going to push it over to 5 inches. And I promise this is the most difficult part of this card, is constructing the card base. And again, we're just scoring between the two cut lines. There we go. And we are done. I'm going to share with you a look at where those are scored so you can see how it takes shape. So you can see this center panel has that pop-up panel. I'll just fold it a tiny bit. The midway through the card, we have that peak, that mountain peak. And then we also have the score coming down at 2 inches. It's going to be a valley fold. And what I'm going to be doing is taking my bone folder, and look how easily it's going to fall together. I'm just going to bring this down. So cool. This is what we created with those score lines and the cut lines. And I'm going to burnish. This is the pop-up, the center panel pop-up. These you can fold down, that 1 inch flap, fold it down. And then we also want to burnish on that 2 inch score line and on the 6 inch score line. And you're going to see how easy that falls together. Super cool. Yes, Sandy, I totally agree. So that was the rough part. The easy part comes when we lay the pattern paper, and I am using some beautiful paper with gold foil. These are rats. I don't have my cheat sheet with me. Let's see. Let me grab the names, because you're going to want to know, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I should have asked for your help. You probably know. This is the Regal Distressed Patterns. It's a specialty paper. You get the Pretty Peacock, you get a Cherry Cobbler, and you get a basic beige. I have used this paper before on some of my amaryllis projects. I love it. Very, very elegant. And I have coordinated it with another of my favorite for the holiday, and just the tiniest little snips. This is the Season of Elegance paper. So I have small snips of the Season of Elegance. And the card base is Lost Lagoon. And my contrasting color is going to be Pretty Peacock. And we've got we have some gold foil going on. And this was pre-cut from the Spotlight on Nature dies. So there we go. So let's eliminate some of these pattern papers before I lose them. And I'm going to flip this. You can see the leaf patterns are going different directions, and I think I want them swaying the same direction. These measure 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. So we're going to have a little bit peeking through on a border there, and I'm looking for, you got it, my favorite adhesive, Tombow liquid glue. we're gonna lay these patterns down. The nice thing about this paper is you're not covering a pretty pattern on the reverse side. So already I can see my little bottle of glue, and all I do is take a paper clip and push through to unclog it there, and I see the little clog. And there we go. So just a tiny trail of liquid glue. You know my mantra, dot, dot, not a lot, because you don't want a sticky mess. And we're gonna have a border of about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Gets flatted here. And you are going to see, I was very honest, this is very easy to assemble. The measurements are on the tutorial, so if you like to prep in advance like me, what I do is do all my cutting and maybe my stamping, and then I'm ready to assemble. So, again, about 1/8 of an inch all the way around on the panel. All right, I'm going to take my contrasting DSP, which is also pretty peacock, and I should have 4 pieces there. There it is. And you can see some of them have a little bit more gold and some have less. Hello, Debbie J. All right, so I'm going to pair these up. I think these came partnered, kind of like that, but I'm going to take the 2 with the heavier gold and put them on the bottom. I always feel like the bottom should be a little bit weightier. And again, this gets flat adhered. These measure 3/4 of an inch by 1 3/4. That's what is so simple about this card. The measurements, these are 2-inch panels. How easy is that? And so the layers are just 1/4 of an inch smaller. It makes cutting easy to remember. And you're going to have same size border all the way around. Very easy. Yay, thank you. I love the little hearts going up. They make me happy. All right, so then I have the still pretty peacock with just a little splash of gold. These go on the top, same size. And you can see how you can easily use your scraps on these beautiful papers. Nothing gets wasted. They're tiny, but they make an impact. And again, about 1/8 of an inch border. And I'm just using a little visual to make sure I have about the same going all the way across as I have there. So there's our card base, right? When I flip over, I'm going to do some of the panels on the back, not all of them. That center panel needs to be stamped before you put it down. And if this is a card you're going to be mailing out and you decide this is the panel you want to write on, I wouldn't write on it until, I wouldn't adhere it until I've stamped and written on it. You also have the option of the other outside panels if you want to write a little longer note. But I'm going to keep it short and simple in that center panel. These measure the same as the pattern paper on the reverse side. So they're 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. And this, in essence, would be the insert of the card. This is kind of like the back once it's standing. And that's another thing I love about this fun fold. It is a card that displays, and there's no better display for the season than that angel appearing to Mary with the good news. I didn't share with you the stamps that I'm using. The same stamps that Tracy used. The very pretty online exclusive called So Very Merry. This was introduced last Christmas season. It's that stained glass effect. It's got the angel, the Santa, little gingerbread house, the bells, the cardinal, and some very nice sentiments that you can use. So it's a great stamp set. Photopolymer, you can see right through for easy placement. These will then measure the same as the pattern pieces on the reverse. They're 3/4 by 1 3/4. And these are just here to give an overall consistent insert. That way you don't have blocks of all different colors. There we go. Right there. Oh, you know what? That one goes. How do I know? Because one, as I was cutting, I saw, oops, that one looks just the tiniest bit wider. And so I did cut these in pairs from a strip. So as long as I pair them together. Hello, Debbie W. I'm so glad you could make it live. Today I have a beautiful faith-based card with the angel and her announcement for the reason for the season, right? And it's a very simple card once you get beyond the card-based construction. But I have the measurements, and you can go back and replay to see how easy it was to score. I'm going to set that one aside because I want to stamp it before I adhere it. All right, let's flip over to the front side, and that pop-up panel is going to be on the same color as the base, which is Lost Lagoon, and this measures 3.5 by 3.5. I have another layer, which is the pool party, and I have embossed it with the Snowfall Sky embossing folder. I think this has turned out to be my favorite folder this season. And you have a choice when you use your embossed layer. The snow tends to get denser at one end, and I like it typically at the bottom. I like the dense snow. So it's lighter snow falling from the sky, a little bit denser as it hits the ground. Hello, Pam. Oh, the gang's all here. I love it. Thank you for joining me live. It's Thursday afternoon. It's a beautiful Thursday. We do need to remember some of our neighbors in California who are suffering in fires today. All right, but having said that, I was talking about the density of the snow. I'm going to flip it. I want it denser at the top because I'm going to have enough focus down here with the greeting. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this up. And second choice, not only can you choose on the density where you want the dense snow to go, you can also choose, do you want the deboss size or do you want the emboss size? Oh, Lena, thank you. I love the color choice. So regal, so elegant. I'm going to go for the deboss side. It's a matter of preference, right? So you can kind of see how these indentations go down, and on the flip side, they pop up. A lot of people like that pop-up side, I have to confess. But I'm going to go against the majority, probably. I don't know. What do you think? Do you like it embossed or debossed? Sometimes I often choose the embossed side, but I just want a very subtle texture to it. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. Thank you, Pam. I've been watching the news today, been glued to the television. Further north in Ventura County, there's lots of heavy fires with the Santa Ana winds that spread so rapidly. So I am going to sand this 3.5-inch square because I want to kind of just file it down, make sure that it slips through when we fold the card. Remember, this card folds flat for easy mailing in a standard size envelope using standard postage. And what I'm doing is just filing down. This just takes the width or the height down a smidge. And this is going to be flat adhered on that pop-up panel. So I am just going to do a couple of trails of liquid glue. Look how I'm only doing it on that center portion because these little flaps are going to collapse like so. And this is going to be centered. So if I align it right at that cut line, and I'm going to have the same border on this side. It's about a 1/4 inch smaller. So this should be right in the middle. Remember, I love the liquid glue. It's so forgiving. If I need to adjust that layer, I think it looks pretty good. Bring it over just the tiniest bit. And that is the pro of the liquid glue, how you can just kind of push that over a tad. All right, you can see how the mechanism's going to work. It's going to pop up like so. This way, this is how it looks. So there's flat and then it's folded. This is how we fold it for the envelope. You can do that. Let's work on our focal point, which is going to be that beautiful angel from the Very Merry Christmas. It's a photopolymer stamp. It is very round and very cool that we're going to be able to punch it with the 2 3/8 inch punch. And I'm looking around. The one scrap I need is not at my fingertips. I'm going to have to grab a piece of basic white. So just a scrap. I'm going to be stamping in basic black or tuxedo black. And I'm just going to ink up. And the whole effect is stained glass. So right now I've got kind of like that metal. Pressing down, there we go. And we are going to color, and I'll show you the colors that I used for coloring the angel. Let me bring in my colors. So I've got 2 yellows. I have Daffodil Delight and I have Lemon Lolly. I have my dress colors, which are Pool Party and Lost Lagoon. And I have the skin tone that's Petal Pink. Her hair will be Crumb Cake. And we are going to be adding a wink of Stella to her wings and that stained glass. So it's really easy coloring. I started with the lightest colors. So I went for the light Pool Party to color her dress. And you can see how she has sort of like an apron. It's a 2-layered dress. Kind of like the habit that nuns wear maybe. Okay, so her sleeves are the Pool Party color. And I'm using the brush tip. I have to admit, Pool Party is one of my favorite colors. And this is a brand new Stampin' Blend. I'm always having to replace the Pool Party and the Crumb Cake because they get used so much. And because I share, the brush tip often gets frayed and spread. You can see how easy this is to color. Just the 2 tones. We're going to have shadowy bits underneath. So this is kind of like the apron color. Then we're going to have that darker tone, which is Lost Lagoon. I'm going to try to put my things away so I don't lose. I'm going to go with the dark Lost Lagoon. And I'm going to use the pen tip because these are smaller areas. I don't want to go outside the line. And coloring this little angel is very therapeutic. It goes very easily. You don't have to worry about shading. We're just laying down a little bit of color. And again, I'm going to give a shout out to Tracy. I absolutely loved her card when I saw it. And it inspired me to pull out my stamp set, my So Very Merry stamp set. I've used it a couple times this season. Last year it was one of my favorites, and I'm glad I get to use it again this year. Okay, so I colored the angel's dress. I'm actually also going to color, since I have my Lost Lagoon out, these small glass panels on the outside of the stained glass window. And I'm going to skip a pane. We're going to be doing it Lost Lagoon in yellow, being Daffodil Delight yellow. Very easy. Again, with the pen tip, it makes it really easy. All right, there is my Lost Lagoon coloring. I'm going to lay down my yellow next. And I'm going to start with the lighter yellow, which is Lemon Lolly. And for this, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to do these panels, these stained glass panels right outside, or the larger areas right outside the angel's image. And again, we're going to skip every other one. We're going to alternate with the darker yellow, the Daffodil Delight yellow. We'll skip. And there's a tiny piece under her wing. And then on this side, so this will be the darker, this will be the light. And I sometimes have to talk to myself, so I remind myself so I don't goof. There we go. Okay, so it's coming along. I'm going to do my darker yellow, Daffodil Delight. And this is also a newer blend, so that brush tip is pretty decent right now. It's kind of like getting new crayons. Remember when you used to get that box of 64 crayons and you wanted to keep them perfect, nice and sharp, no broken crayons? That's how I feel with my blends. If only I could keep that brush tip intact. All right, so I'm just skipping over light and dark yellow, doing this little frame. And again, all right, now we're going to alternate on the outside ring and right through here. And just a couple more. All right, we just have a couple of areas we need to color in: her hands and her face. For that, I'm using the Petal Pink, and I'm using the pen tip. And we need to do her hair, and of course you could choose golden hair, a darker hair. I'm going with the brown because that's my hair color. And again, I'm using the pen tip. I'm going to fill in with the brush. Ooh, I can see this one's a little bit frayed. So this is not a new one. And to revert to the pen tip. Okay, we're almost done. I do want to add some Wink of Stella, but I'm going to wait to punch it first. This is the perfect size for the 2 3/8 inch circle punch. Let's see if I can get it centered. So we're going to have a tiny, tiny white border. Oh, my dear, kind and wonderful friend Sandy says the real angels are blonde. So yes, you are an angel, Sandy. All right, there is, look how pretty she is. I think that that brown here is a nice contrast because we've got the yellow sun coming through that beautiful window. Yes. All right. But let's add this to that pretty die cut. I love this border. I think it goes nicely with the border on the stained glass. And we are going to add this to the gold foil with mini glue dots. I think you might have heard me say before, I don't like to use the liquid glue, even though I'm a huge fan of liquid glue. I don't use it on gold foil because it just gets messy and you can't really correct once you get glue in the wrong place. It looks a little awkward. So mini glue dots do the trick for me. And we're going to center that. And at this point, I don't need to worry whether it's straight or angled the way I want it because it's a circle. We're going to be able to rotate however we like. Next, we are going to add this to our card base. So right now, really, we have a choice. I could go ahead and add, and in fact, I think I will. It might be easier with our image being flat. So I added Wink Estella to her wings, right? It's ever so subtle, but it will shine and shimmer in the light. And then I'm also going to add it to the stained glass. I'm not doing her dress. Ooh, I can see I left out a little smudge of yellow, a little slice of yellow that I didn't color. I need to come back in with my Daffodil Delight pen. And let me do that right now before I forget. I'm very forgetful. There we go, perfect. And let me just go in with the stained glass. And this is actually a card you could mass reproduce. You've got plenty of time. You can knock out the card base. Once you know the measurements, you can do it almost mindlessly. And then it's just a matter of assembly. Well, the coloring, but the coloring's very, very relaxing. And I'm just adding the shine on the stained glass as though the sun is breaking through. And I'll do that outer rim as well. Could just do the entire dress, right? Because it is a stained glass window. Anyway, that's how I like it. You can kind of see, I don't know if it shows through or not. It does kind of, right? Okay, so let me get that out of the way. We're going to add that to our card front. This is going to go on with dimensionals. And let's see. Oh, I have a brand new pack. Wow, it's a beautiful day. I have brand new blends and I have brand new dimensionals. Can things get any better? Oh, the things that delight a crafter, right? A new sheet of dimensionals. All right, so I'm supporting it well. No, you don't want any flimsy construction on this beautiful card. And I do want her kind of like I don't want her standing tall. I want her like she's flying in, flying up maybe. Nope, I think down. All right, now I chose a sentiment, not from the stamp set. In the stamp set, we have a choice. We could have used the peace and joy sentiment, but instead I chose from the peaceful season. I'm using part of the sentiment that says a season of wonder and happiness, but I'm using only a season of wonder. So for that, I have pre-done it because it's embossed with that beautiful new Wow embossing powder, A Season of Wonder. It's going to go right onto this layer, and I'm going to do a little bit of snipping here at an angle. It's a very tiny greeting. I am going to have it on a dimensional at the right, and then at the left I'll just put a little dot of liquid glue. So I'm going to bring in a mini dimensional, and then I will add a little bit of liquid glue at the other end, just so it's intact. Now, here's the thing. You don't want it hanging off your card, otherwise it won't fit in the envelope. So I am going to bring it almost all the way to the edge of the card, like so. Pretty easy, right? Not done yet. We're going to stamp our greeting for the insert, which is actually the back of the card, and I'm using my quote gold ink pad, which is Wild Wheat. You've seen me use it for gold before, and this is where I'm stamping Peace and Joy, but I'm not using that curved Peace and Joy from the So Very Merry. I'm using the Peace and Joy from Peaceful Season. So using Wild Wheat ink, I'm going to ink up on that center panel towards the top, so we have a little bit of space to say Merry Christmas from our house to yours, or whatever you want to write. And this is the center panel, goes on the back right there, flat adhered. And there. Oh, I love it. Okay, so now we just have an embellishment, and here's what we're using. Let me see if I can clean up. I'm pulling out my adhesive-backed metallic gems. Here is where I wish we had some beautiful gold stars I could use, but we don't. This year we have these metallics. I don't know there. We have the silver, the gold, the copper in 2 different sizes. I'm going to borrow a large one and put it down. Maybe I need my take your pick. I need to slip right underneath to get the glue dot, and it's going to go below the circle. And I'm going to take another large one. We want some shimmer, and it's going to go up at the top, a little bit higher. And I'm going to take a smaller one, create my triangle, and there we go. There is our faith-based fun fold. It's a gatefold with the center pop-up panel. What do you think? I think it's a very pretty card. It creates a nice variety of cards to send this season for all different reasons. This one's using the So Very Merry card, and here's my original. They look almost identical, I think. Pretty much. All right. It's week 6 already. Unbelievable. I will be back next Thursday for week 7. We are literally counting down. It's going to be just a matter of weeks now. Make sure you're getting your Christmas cards done to get in the mail. A little bit later in upcoming weeks, I'm going to be doing some cute giftables, 3D party favors, and that kind of a project. I think we still have time for some more stepped up cards. So, all right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me live on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing well. If you're recovering, if you're holidaying, or if you're just gonna get ready for the weekend, have a great weekend. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you soon for a new project. Thank you.